Welcome back to the program. We'll kick off this segment with a review of the market performance during the week. And it was a bearish week at the Nigerian equities market as the benchmark index declined by 2.09% due to the stream of weak corporate earnings that hit the market at the end of last week and throughout this week. The all-share index tumbled to 27.425.86 with a lower market capitalization of 9.41 trillion naira. Total volume traded slipped by 36.53% to 1.19 billion naira and exchanged in 18,548 deals. Market breadth remains negative with 22 gainers led by Total with 33.34% versus 39 losers, with surplus shedding 18.54%. Banking stocks led market activities by volume as UBA, GT Bank and Fidelity Bank collectively accounted for 34.80% of total volume traded during the 5-day session. Now, as we saw during the market review, the apathy in the market relates to the performance of companies in the first half of the year. The uncertainties surrounding some delayed financial statements is a major factor as well. With the marginal gains or losses made public so far, some companies have resolved to raise capital from the market either through rights issue, private placements or debts or even commercial papers. To give us insights into these trends, the Chief Executive Officer at Enterprise Capital, Mr. Rotimi Fakayejo, joins us now. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So good to have you on capital market again.
It's my pleasure.
Before we delve into this trend of capital raising, let's quickly review the month of July. What would you say happened to the markets?
Well, I think when you look at the macroeconomic performance review of the Nigerian economy, I think the answer to that will not be far-fetched. A lot of things did happen. We are seeing the liberalization of the foreign exchange market or the policy for the naira and vis-a-vis other international currencies. Yeah. Then also we are seeing the dwindling value of the naira on daily or weekly basis. At the same time, the paucity of foreign exchange here in Nigeria is grossly affecting business. Right. And all of that put together, and coupled with the fact that in the period as well, the period under review, we also saw the inflation rate getting as high as 16%. Yeah. So all these are not business friendly. They are very hostile to business environment.
So generally we agree that the macroeconomic landscape was really, really weak.
Yeah, it was weak.
Okay, so let's look at the performance of companies that have come in so far. Of course, you are a stock trader, and I know that these are some of the earnings that help you to shape your decision when it comes to buying or selling a stock. We'll look at the banks. A lot of them now have resolved to having to shore up their capital or shore up liquidity in the banking sector. Why are we saying this when we know that a couple of them have also declared some positive numbers for this period?
Well, I think it's not far-fetched from the fact that they are likely facing capital inadequacy at this point in time. Mm-hmm. We know that a lot of them do have dollar-denominated bonds. Yeah. And with the devaluation of the naira from 197 to, we don't even know what rate you're going to call it now, whether it's 300, whether it's 330 or whatever, I think that also is putting a lot of pressure on them. So if their Tier 2 capital is inadequate, it's definitely going to imply on how foreign correspondent banks perceive them, and also how readily they may be able to carry out their functions as money deposit banks. So with this is more of an urgency for them to go ahead and raise capital.
But should that actually concern a bank like FCMB that was able to declare an impressive earning, possibly as a result of its gains of 167 billion naira made, from FX gains?
But one thing we need to know is, yes, they did declare such gains, but the question is, what is the gap in their capital inadequacy, which is calling for raising fresh capital? So will the profit just end? Will it be able to sustain that gap? or equal that, fill that gap. But if the answer is no, then definitely we will see a situation whereby they will unavoidably have to come to the market.
I agree with you. Anyways, the CAR, the capital adequacy ratio is now at 16.1%, I guess, which is actually a decline. But what kind of impact do you see this kind of capital, having on the bank? Because if you take a look at the loan loss position that they have, you notice that, for example, they've got a lot of loans, consumer loans, given to workers at the state government level, and they've not been able to recoup these funds. So do you think if they're able to raise some capital now, it will be able to cover up for all of this, especially given the fact that they will have to redeem some of these loans eventually?
Well, I think the first thing they're going to do is to do an assessment of what the quantum of capital that they will require in addition to what they have presently. When they resolve that, then definitely I believe they will come to the market. But the big question is, will they be able to do that through the equity markets? Is a very, very hard question to answer. Because, for instance, we know that some majority of the banks have their total number of shares in issue in excess of 25 billion shares. And if we are talking about a gap of about 50 billion, of about 60 billion for a bank like FCMB, then definitely they will have to raise as many as maybe about 40 billion shares in addition, which will dilute what is presently being owned by present shareholders. So at the end of the day, I don't really think it's going to be a win situation for the existing shareholders. So invariably, many of them are going to go the way of debt issue rather than equity. And I think that's what we're going to see in majority of the other companies that may come.
Okay, let's have that FCMB unaudited first half earnings on screen. We know it was 14% higher for the revenue. The PBT was also 70% higher. In its quarter two as well, they had an impressive net interest income, a very good PBT as well as post-tax profit. Let's be more specific with Diamond Bank now, for example, because we know Sterling Bank too is doing the same thing. But in the case of Diamond Bank, it's got some cases with RT Briscoe. It's got a lot of poor non-performing loan, much non-performing loan. How much do you think this bank will need? Because you speculated on that of FCMB earlier.
Well, I think I may not be able to be more specific on that. But one thing I do know is that Diamond Bank also has had its own fair share of non-performing loans in the market. And with the prevailing economic situation in the country, the epileptic infrastructures, which are not always there, the paucity of foreign exchange supply, and all of other accompanying problems within the economy, I think they also will need to do that quickly. But how much specifically now is going to be very, very difficult.
Of course, you're not a staff of Diamond Bank. But let's cross over to the African markets. In the course of the week, Casablanca Stock Exchange successfully went live with the new technology platform provided by Millennium Meets, a technological subsidiary of London Stock Exchange Group. The launch of the Millennium platform is a new achievement of the strategic cooperation agreement between the CSE and LSEG, and that is part of what was going to be driving the market. Let's quickly look at the numbers on the screen. African markets, MASI, which is Casablanca Stock Exchange, despite the new initiative, went down, and as well as BRVM. It was all red throughout the week. But then that's it on African markets. We'll continue the discussion shortly after this break with Mr. Fakayojo.